Hi and welcome to wrist training. We will do always one exercise to stabilize my wrist, and then I'm going to read from here something about cork, and we try to learn and understand about cork. And participating in the exercises is at your own risk. Let's start with the first one. We're having a good and stable stance. We're having the arms at the outside, the hands from the fist, and we're bringing this fist down and up again. And we're doing all exercises by 3 rules. The first rule is, if there's pain, we stop immediately. We don't continue, we're stopping immediately. The second rule is, we're going only as far as we can go with a little bit of effort. And as soon as we've reached the point which we could reach with a little bit of effort, we're turning around and going into the other direction. And the third rule, we don't overwork the muscles. And we don't even go onto their limit. We don't use their full potential. So that means that this will be the last time. So we can do this exercise probably 100 times more or something, but that's not good. So we're stopping before we're reaching the limit, especially far before we overwork. Now to cork. Cork is a stuff, a material. So cork is a stuff, it's a material. Cork is impermeable, it's a stuff. It's a material and it's impermeable. Luckily we have to one of them what it means, and that's impermeable. That means that water cannot flow through it, but also other liquids or even gases cannot go through cork. So, through cork, water doesn't flow through it. Through cloth, for example, water flows through, but through cork, water doesn't flow through. So it's a material, it's a stuff, it's a material, and it's impermeable, it's impermeable. Impermeable, that means fluids and gases also cannot go through it. The next exercise, we just was the spotlight, now we're doing the flashlight, very similar. Again, same setup, but now we're moving the fists to the inside and to the outside. And the 3 rules were and are that we're stopping immediately as soon as we feel pain. We're going only as far as we can go with a little bit of effort. We're turning around and going into the other direction. And the third one, which we are not going until the potential. So that means that we will do this after the time, just one more time. So to the outside, back to the inside. Cork's the stuff, it's material, it's impermeable, or something like that, impermeable. That means liquids and gases can't go through it. It means impermeable, maybe impermeable. Trees have a bark on the outside of their trunk and branches like a skin, and also on their roots. So trees, these are plants which are growing, they have a trunk and then they have branches and leaves, and they have also roots on the ground, and on the outside of the trunk there is a bark. It's like the skin of a tree. It's also on the branches and also on the roots. They have a bark. The bark on the outside of trees has a layer called phellem layer. So that's not just bark, but someone has made more names for it, and there's the phellem layer. So it's good possible that there are multiple layers, that this bark consists out of multiple layers, like the skin also consists out of multiple layers. So the phellem layer is one layer of the bark of trees. The next exercise, now it is which is the same thing with flat hands. So we have flat hands, and we bring these flat hands to the outside, to the inside. And outside and back to the inside. I'm not completely sure about the order, but I think it was epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis, the 3 main layers of the skin. Epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. The bark on the outside of trees has a layer called phellem layer. Cork is made out of this phellem layer of trees, mainly from the tree the Cork Oak. So cork is a stuff, it's material, it's impermeable, whatever. And so it means it doesn't let guys fluid through it. And it's made out of this phellem layer of a bark of trees, and mainly out of a tree which is called Cork Oak. So Cork Oak is the name of a tree, and this tree has a trunk and branches and leaves and roots, and the trunk has on the outside the bark, and also roots and leaves have a bark, but mainly the trunk, where it is fixed, and the bark has the phellem layer, and out of that phellem layer, cork is made. The next exercise, the pancake flipper. We have the hands next to us, and we're lifting these hands, open to the sky, and we're flipping them down to the bottom. So we're flipping the pancake, but we're doing that according to these 3 rules, not widely like a pancake. First rule, no pain. If pain, then stop. Second rule, only as far as we can go with a little bit of effort. And third rule, we never overwork and we don't even reach the full potential. So that means that this is the last time. And we're a bit behind the time. So we're going directly on with the next exercise. It is the T-Rex in the morning. So we're bringing the hands down and up and again, down and up. And because this exercise and the next one fits so good together, we're directly going on to the next one. After this, which was the T-Rex in the morning, we're having the T-Rex in the gym. And where we're taking a tennis ball. If you don't have a tennis ball, just do it without one, and you're just pressing onto the tennis ball with moderate force. Don't overdo it. And a second time, now we're pressing, and we're releasing, and we're pressing a third time. Now we're switching the upper hand, and we are pressing, and we are switching, and we're doing it again. And for the last time, we're pressing and releasing the tennis ball. So the cork oak exists. The cork oak is a tree, and the cork oak has a trunk, and on the outside of the trunk there is the bark, and the bark has the phellem layer, and that phellem layer is the material which cork consists of. The cork is made of this, out of this phellem layer of the cork oak. And it's impermeable, whatever the word is. That means gas or fluids can go through it. Cork consists out of a substance Suberin. Mainly Suberin, it has also other substances, but Suberin. So it's not just out of a phellem layer. Phellem layer is just the name for the layer, but the phellem layer has to consist out of something, and the stuff or material which the phellem layer is made of is Suberin. So because the cork consists out of the phellem layer, the cork consists out of Suberin. Cork is impermeable, elastic and fire retardant. Impermeable means fluid and gases can't go through it, and fire retardant that it don't ignites easily. So cork does not burn good. Many trees survive a wildfire because their trunk has a thick layer of cork around them, or a phellem layer. So, and because they have cork which does burn very badly, the trees do not burn. Then a wildfire comes and they keep standing. A bit more. Cork is used. Now we're doing that in a moment. So now we're having the frog testing the water temperature. So we're having the hands next to us, and we're bringing the hands down and again up with strong fists. So we're pressing the fingers together, and we're going down again, and we are flaring the fingers. We're going up again, and we are pressing the fingers together, and down again the last time. We are flaring the fingers, and up again, and we are making a strong fist. And directly onto the cautious big bang, placing the fingertips of one hand on top of the fingernails of the other hand. And now we are opening, while that hand the whole time presses onto that hand. So we're opening against the closing force of the pressing hand. Now we're closing against the closing force of the pressing hand. And that is the last time before it's time to switch, which was just a moment ago. We had switched, and now we're doing the same thing. We're opening and closing again. And we're doing that now for the last time. We're opening and we are closing. So cork's impermeable, elastic and fire retardant. Cork is used as wine corks to keep what's in the wine bottle in it. So they're on top of a wine bottle. And that is the important thing about it, because they don't let fluid through it. They are impermeable. They don't let the fluid out, so if you turn it around, the wine doesn't flow out of it. And also, if there are other stuff in it, the carbon dioxide, for example, is in the neck of the bottle, but also doesn't go through it. So not only the fluids, the wine does not go through it, but also the gases, the carbon dioxide inside of the wine bottle does not go through it. It is airtight. Air is a gas. Montado is a place in Portugal and Spain. Here in Montado, half of all the cork of the world is harvested. So here's Asia, here's Africa, and here's Europe. There on the Iberian half island, or something, what is it called in English? There is Spain and there's Portugal at the coast side of the Iberian Peninsula. Iberian Peninsula is the name. So here's the Iberian Peninsula, and there's Spain and Portugal. No, Malta is somewhere else. So here's Portugal, and there is Montado. Montado is an area, and there half of the world production of cork is produced. There are many trees growing which are having a Phellem layer out of which cork is made, which is made out of Suberin. Corticeria Amorium is the name of the leading cork production company. It's a Portuguese company. Corticeria Amorium is a company which produces these trees, which harvests these trees. Cork is used since over 5,000 years. So 5,000 years ago, some people have used cork. The cork of the trees is stripped of them every 9 years. The trees get circa 300 years old. So every 9 years, after they've gotten 25 years old, every 9 years the cork is stripped of them, so the bark is removed, and then the cork is taken. But the tree doesn't die. That's the next point. Cork production is sustainable. The tree is not killed, but it lives on. Furthermore, cork easily to recycle. So the next exercise, the rectangular cast-like technique. We have the hands or fists up and turning these fists towards each other and up. So every 9 years the bark is removed, and then out of that bark with the Phellem layer of Suberin, the cork is made. But the tree does not die. It's sustainable. The tree lives on, and the tree grows around for around 300 years. And the cork itself is easy to recycle. And it was the rectangular castle architect. We go on to the crab, which is anxious to have fever. Hand the fist next to us. We turn the fist down, and we're pressing the fingers from the inside against the hand. The inside of the mass. Now from the outside, I will put that exercise, in particular this one, is done very carefully. Now from the top and from the bottom. Now the other hand, we bring the fist down and pressing a bit from the inside. And now we're pulling a bit from the outside. And a bit from the top. And from the bottom. And all exercises are done, just a bit of relaxation. We're going with the fingers of the middle part of the arm. So here's the brachioradialis, and we're going a bit next to it. Then we're going down over the arm with moderate pressure. We're slightly bent in the elbow. So slight bend in the elbow, here's the brachioradialis, down with the fingers here, and we're going with moderate pressure of the middle part of the arm, which is the place where this extensor digital muscle lies. We've used it all the time to extend digits. So the name of it was Montado. So here's the Iberian Peninsula, and there are the two main countries, Spain and Portugal, and the southern Portugal and southern Spain. There is Montado, and that is a place where a lot of these cork oaks, I guess cork oaks, but it was never written here. There are a lot of trees growing which have a Phellem layer, which is made of Suberin, out of which cork is made, by removing the bark every 9 years, and the tree lives on for 300 years, and making out of it wine bottle stoppers. And that for 5,000 years cork is used. Cork production is sustainable, yes. Besides as wine stoppers, cork is used also in shoes, in the sole of shoes, and in baseballs, in the core of baseballs and cricket balls, and as heat shields in spacecrafts. So if a spacecraft comes into an atmosphere of the Earth or Mars or Moon, Moon doesn't have an atmosphere of Earth or Mars, of the Earth, for example, then it gets really hot because there's a lot of friction happening. It goes along the air. The spacecraft is very fast, and that causes a lot of warmth and friction and heat. And to protect against that heat, there is cork in the heat shield. So spacecrafts have a heat shield which protects them against the heat, which happens from friction because they're entering the Earth atmosphere to slow down. And that shield, it's written here, is made out of cork. I'm pretty sure it's oftentimes made of more stuff than just cork, and maybe oftentimes it's completely without cork. Whatever, it is, according to this article, made out of cork in some occasions. That is everything. I thank you very much, and until next time.